Hey, good morning everybody. It's Brittany at Big Cat Rescue in Tampa, Florida. This morning we are going to treat you guys to another virtual keeper tour today. So we are going to follow Rebecca, so I'm very excited. She's such an excellent keeper. So she's going to show you guys some examples of operant conditioning and enrichment and just take us around. We're running a few minutes behind today, which is fine. She's loading up the cart right now and making some spice bags. So I figured I'd just go ahead and fire this up and give you guys enough time to join in while they are doing that. We will have Red Shirt Christine with us today as our backup, and she's going to be recording all of the enrichment that we hand out. And just a nice little tidbit, so each day Nikita Lion has been eating between 3 and 5 pounds. Jen told me this morning she was part of the Clean Plate Club again today. So that's very exciting, and rumor has it she may go ahead and get access to her open air section today, so keep an eye on that. Thanks, Dawn, for the donation. So again, most of you that know all about us know that every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we've always done a keeper tour and a feeding tour. Brings in a ton of revenue for the cats because we support the cats on donations and then guided educational tours. We did have to close those down March 16th, so we've been doing without that. So every donation is just priceless for us, so thank you very much. All right, I think we're ready. Are we ready? All right, this is Rebecca and Christine. Christine's gonna be our backup, so all right, take it away, Rebecca.
Hi everyone, I know Brittany's already introduced us, so welcome to Big Cat Rescue. I hope you can hear me. I know that it can be a little bit weird with us wearing the masks and stuff. I'm really excited to be doing this. I've really missed doing the keeper tour, so I'm really glad that you can all join us from wherever you are in the world. I always like to welcome people to Big Cat Rescue and let them know a little bit about us. So for our first time viewers, we're the largest Big Cat Rescue within the United States. And we're a true sanctuary, so by that I mean we don't buy, breed, trade, sell or touch any of our cats. And you'll learn really quickly why we don't touch any of our cats once you see them react to me when I have meat in my hands. Because they might seem really cute from the outside, but when I have anything resembling meat, they get really excited. So you'll understand why we have that rule. We also do have cats that live together in the same enclosure, and they'll always be fixed, so we don't allow any breeding here. I like to think of us as like a big cat retirement facility. So once a cat comes to us, we promise them that we're going to take care of them for the rest of their life. So they're never going to be moved to another facility. This is like their retirement home. So we basically let them do their own thing and take care of them throughout the day. And we're going to give you a view of that today. So hopefully while we're out there, we'll see some cleaners out there cleaning the enclosures. About an hour ago, we started feeding the cats. We feed first thing in the morning, then we clean the enclosures, and then while they're out there, we're going to be handing out some enrichment. So feeding and cleaning would be like the basic care we take of the cats. We do that every single day. And then what you're going to see on this tour is the additional stuff we do to try and take care of our cats and give them the best quality of care. So enrichment is anything that mentally or physically stimulates the cats. So I can be enrichment for them. Me going over to them and saying hi, they can get excited, sometimes predatory. So that's enrichment, but it's a lot of the stuff we give them, you'll see, is scent-based. Cats have a really amazing sense of smell, so we give them spice bags, little paper bags filled with catnip, cinnamon, any kind of spice or herb that's not offensive to them. And then we also pass out toilet paper tubes with perfume sprayed on them. So we use a lot of paper, and that's because the cats get very excited. So if they rip the paper up and happen to ingest a little bit, it's not going to hurt them. But saying that, we do have a naughty list of cats that will just eat a whole bag. So they don't get paper at all. And what we try to give them is either just a handful of loose catnip or frozen enrichment. So we freeze blood from the beef that we feed the cats with water, and we make blood sickles. I'll show one to you now.
Thank you guys very much for the donations.
So this is a yummy bloodsicle.
Oh yeah.
Like a popsicle, but for a carnivore. And then we also do fish ones. So this is a sardini martini. So these are really good because we're in Florida. It's hot pretty much all year round. And it's a really good way to encourage the cats to ingest liquid as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to be handing out these while we go round as well.
Perfect.
So I think we're good to get started.
Yeah.
I'm sure Brittany will be answering your questions as you ask them as well. I also really love answering questions, and so does Christine.
Yes.
So ask away, and we're going to get started. I think
Perfect.
we're going to head to Shiloh first.
Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, I've already had a few people say they've had each of you as tour guides before. So. All right. So we're going to go see Shiloh Bobcat. If anyone is having trouble hearing, our suggestion is usually to wear earbuds or headphones. We do try to speak as loudly as we possibly can without being offensive to the cats and to the sanctuary. So we are doing our best to stick close to the camera. Thank you to everybody helping answer questions. So again, if you've just joined in, we're going to follow Rebecca and Christine on a keeper tour this morning. And happy Father's Day to everybody who's watching and celebrating that today.
So this is an example of one of our spice bags. So it's just a plain paper bag, and we fill it with just a little bit of herbs and spices. So a really popular one is catnip. They do react to it the same way as your domestic cats might. They also tend to like cinnamon and stuff like that as well. So I think he's snoozing around the corner.
Okay. So we're at Shiloh Bobcat. Oh yeah, I see a fuzzy belly. He does have a bag. You flattened that one. You flattened that one.
So this is Shiloh. He's one of the many bobcats that calls Big Cat Rescue a home. And they're very special to us, bobcats are, because they're actually how we started out as a sanctuary. Founder Carol rescued a little bobcat kitten from an animal auction when she found out a taxidermist was also bidding on it. So basically this man was going to kill this little bobcat and stuff it. So she outbid him and brought the little bobcat home. And that's kind of what started out Big Cat Rescue. So they're really important to us.
They are, yeah. I always say Big Cat Rescue is built on bobcats.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And up until recently, we did still have a lot of the remaining rescues that we first had. So we started rescuing bobcats from fur farms back in the day. But Shiloh came to us from California, so he came to us from a sanctuary that unfortunately had to shut down. So 4 of our rescuers flew out to California and then hired a van and drove back with 4 new cats, and he's one of them. And he's actually super friendly. He normally does come over and say hi, but I think he's taking his after breakfast nap right now.
I think so too. He looks like he has a very full belly.
But take a good look at him, because as we go around and look at the other bobcats, you'll notice they're all really different. And that's because they're a really varied species, and the fact that you can find them in every state of the United States except for Hawaii, because bobcats can't swim. So they tend to look different depending on where you find them. So the bobcats up in the northern states tend to be bigger in size, and the ones that you might find down here in Florida are much smaller and skinnier and darker in colour. So they're really, really cool to look at because they just all look completely different. Like, I've never seen a bobcat like Shiloh. He doesn't look like anyone else here. And you can say the same for pretty much all of our bobcats here. So hopefully we'll see some more as we go round.
All right, buddy, it's there for whenever you want to enjoy it.
And we'll probably play with that later. I always remind myself Enrichment is more for the cats than for us, even though obviously we really enjoy it. It's one of our favourite things to do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is their home, so if he wants to just snooze for a bit and then play with it in a few hours, that's perfectly fine by us.
Yep.
Should we maybe see if Gilligan's out?
We can definitely try, yeah.
I think he's snoozing. Maybe he'll come over for a sickle.
He'll at least look at us and give us a good snub. So we're going to try Gilligan. He's a Canada lynx. Thank you very, very much for the donations. Well, Jerry, so what she means, we have the running joke of why bobcats aren't in Hawaii is because they've never learned to swim there. They can swim if they need to. They try not to. They're not big into being in the water. But some bobcats can swim and like water, but most do not. See if Gilligan wants a sickle. Oh, I see him. Is he? Yeah, he's back there on his wall.
You'll probably be able to see him best from like here.
Yeah, probably. Hi, bud. He did. I see ears. I see some ears. Oh my.
You're so handsome.
So handsome.
So we've got a little bloodsicle for him, and I'm just going to throw it in. And Gilligan does tend to be quite shy, so he'll probably come over it and enjoy it once we've left. But I think it's really cool for people to see him because I think he's one of the coolest cats we have here.
He is.
So he's a Canadian lynx, so there are different species of lynx, Siberian lynx and Eurasian lynx, and he is Canada lynx. So he's kind of out of his depths here, temperature-wise. But behind him in that rock wall is actually an air-conditioned den. Funnily enough, he doesn't use it as much as I would.
Not
if
as
I was
much.
him, I would live in there.
Me
But
too.
he tends to like being out here, watching the world go by. But he does have access to air conditioning if he needs it. Gilligan's story is a little bit sad. He came to us from private ownership. So unfortunately, most of our cats that we rescue do come to us from private ownership because there's very little legislation within the United States as to whether you can keep an exotic cat or animal or not. So in a lot of states there might be no legislation whatsoever, and in some states it can be completely legal as long as you keep them within certain specifications. So Gilligan came to us from Kansas, where a private owner was keeping his cats in very, very poor conditions. He was in a tiny cage, clearly hadn't been cleaned out in months because the bottom of it was covered in feces and bits of animal bone, and he pretty much just had a little dog den to shelter from the snow and the rain up there. So luckily the animals were confiscated from that owner, and they came to us I think about 5 or 6 years ago now. I was an intern when he arrived here, so he's still a little bit shy of humans, but he has a much better life here. He has a lot of space to roam around, and so I know Brittany in a lot of her lives will show you the enclosures, and this is just one area of his enclosure. So a lot of them, well, all of them are in bubbles. So this is one bubble.
Kind of pan over and show.
And yeah, he loves going under the platform. That's a good spot there. And then next
and
door,
shady.
through this guillotine door here, he has access to another bubble as well. So that way, if we needed to go into one section and clean it out, say do some weeding or maintenance work, we can shut him into one side, lock him securely in there, and then we would enter the enclosure and do any work we needed to do. We're never going to be in the same space as a cat unless it's sedated for a procedure and is in the hospital. So even cleaning on a daily basis, we clean from the outside of the enclosure. So everything is very, very hands-off here for obvious reasons.
Yeah. All right, bud. Your sickle's right down there. You gotta come get it. He's like, as soon as you guys go away. So Christine is marking down each cat's name and then recording the interaction. So far, we haven't had too many that are getting a 4. We can definitely get a reaction from Flint.
He was on his snack den when I came by a few minutes ago.
And I just started filming home tours, so if anyone is interested in seeing each and every cat here in their full enclosure, those are being posted now at dailybigcat.com. I think we've only put out 2 so far. We're just posting 1 a week, but we've already seen Amanda Tiger and Jasmine Tiger.
I thought that's what made me think
Yeah.
because I watched the Jasmine one.
Yep.
So we've got some Axe body spray. sprayed on a toilet paper tube.
There we go.
Very easy and cheap to enrich the cats here for the most part. Oh, good.
Yeah.
He's like a little teenage boy.
He is. He might. Being sneaky somewhere. I want to try a tube. He's such a good example of, since we saw Shiloh, how different a southern bobcat looks, because Flint is a Florida bobcat.
Yeah. So Flint is the baby of our sanctuary. He's the youngest cat here. I can't remember how many months he is now. Oh no, he's a year.
He's just over a year.
Because we celebrate his birthday.
Yep.
So we love to celebrate birthdays on any occasion here. So Flint, we know, came from Florida because he was supposed to be part of the rehab program here. And we're very proud of our rehab program. We rescue Florida bobcats. They may have been hit by a car, or maybe they're babies that may be orphaned because their mother's been injured. And we'll take them in, rehabilitate them, get them back to good health, and then put them back out into the wild. So we get so many questions here. I know Brittany answers on a daily basis why the cats here can't go back out into the wild, and it's a good question. But the problem is all the cats, with a few exceptions, that we have here have come to us from people's homes. They've been bred in captivity, raised by people, and they're just way too used to people to be able to be put back out into the wild. And also a lot of our cats here are over the age of 15, which is far older than a cat would naturally live in, say, India or a country in Africa. So that's why we love our rehab program, because it's the one few opportunity that we get to actually put cats back out into the wild where they belong. Brittany here is part of the rehab program, so she helps directly with the cats. Very few people do, because the point is to keep them wild. We don't want them to trust people. We want them to not like us, basically, because humans often mean trouble out in the wild. Yep. So they're the only cats on property that get fed live prey, because they have to learn how to hunt and catch something before we're comfortable putting them out into the wild. So we don't currently have any bobcats in rehab right now, but they always turn up.
They do.
So keep an eye on our page, and we always post videos of them. We do have live cameras out there, which is really cool, so you can watch them without them knowing you're there.
Yeah. Bye.
Unfortunately, Flint wasn't able to be part of the rehab program because of some health problems. So he is going to be a permanent resident here. But as you can see, he seems very, very happy here.
Pretty content, yeah.
And he makes us very happy because he's always up to something ridiculous.
You are such a goof. You are such a goof. Yes, you are. Look at that belly. This could go on for a while.
Right, yeah, we can stay here for the full hour, or we'll keep moving.
So yes, I assume, Christine, you can mark him down for a 4. Yeah. Do you want to show them your sheet real quick and kind of tell them what we do with this?
So what I do is I put the cat's name there, what type of enrichment they got, and their reactions. If there's a 1, that means they didn't come over. 4, like Mr. Flint, is he interacted with it extensively.
There you go. Yep.
And then we make notes if we need to, and then Rebecca can log it later.
Yep.
And we can track what they like or what they don't like and cater to them a little bit.
Absolutely. Yep. Great. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay.
going for the servals, Sheena.
I knew you'd pick
yeah.
Sheena.
The sardine martini, especially for her.
Okay, yeah.
And cricket and that lot, and then
Perfect.
trying to like see.
I'll let you guys pass me and I'll
Okay.
just follow you.
Sounds
Yep.
good. Thanks for it.
Uh-huh.
Is Sheena your favorite?
One of your favorites. Yeah, I have a real soft spot for her.
I actually told everybody last week, I think it was Thursday on my live, I was like, now we'll do a keeper tour with Rebecca on Sunday, and I bet you will see Sheena.
Weenie.
So thank you again very much to everybody donating. 100% of your donations goes to the care of the cats, and that's super important right now with us being completely closed to the public. If you joined in late, we're doing a keeper tour with Rebecca and Christine, and it will post automatically at dailybigcat.com, so you'll be able to rewatch it from the beginning if you would like to. Rebecca, I've learned so much from Rebecca. She was one of my biggest trainers when I first started out here. She's in Navy, so she's a master keeper. I love seeing Ginger up on that giant platform. She does. There's a cricket serval hanging out too.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah, right front and center.
So we're going to go and meet two of our servals. So just like bobcats, we have a lot of servals here, so we'll go and meet them and I'll tell you a little bit more about them as a species as well.
Perfect.
So this area here we kind of call serval row because that's where we keep most of our servals.
Mm-hmm. Why do we have so many servals?
So unfortunately,
I'm going off property. The coordinator, radio error.
unfortunately, servals are one of the most popular cats for people to keep as pets. And that's because they're a smaller species, but once you get close to them, and probably once we meet Sheena, you'll understand why we shouldn't keep them as pets. They're a small African wildcat, but they're very, very aggressive. So unfortunately, people think it's a good idea to buy one as a kitten, and then they grow into this small, but very, very feisty and dangerous wildcat in their home.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go and meet Sheena. She was a former pet.
We're coming back for you, sweet girl.
And this is just a typical hello from Sheena. She's always hissing.
Hi.
Right? So that doesn't offend me at all. Sheena always hisses, and that's okay. So this is her at her full-grown size. She's not a baby, she's an adult, so they don't really get much bigger than this. And they're found in different countries within Africa. And we have a saying here, so we say the smaller the cat, the bigger the attitude. And it really is appropriate for this cat because they're probably the feistiest and grumpiest species of cats that we have here. They'll always hiss at you, spit at you, even when you're bringing them a treat. Yeah. They're very, very aggressive cats. And it kind of makes sense because in the wild they'd be sharing their territory with much larger cats. So you kind of have to be feisty in order to make it out there. So Sheena definitely is a good example of that. They're kind of odd looking cats, aren't they? Because they have a small head, but then very long legs and big ears. So that actually makes them one of the most successful hunters out of all the cats. So they're more successful when they're out hunting than a tiger or a lion would be. A lot of people are surprised to hear that, but they have about a 50% success rate when they're out hunting, which is very high for a cat. And that's because they catch pretty much anything that moves, but they're also incredibly agile, and they can actually jump up into the air and swat birds out of the sky and bring them down to the ground. So yeah, very, very good hunters. So
I love how she just settled in.
Right,
like,
I know she's done like a little loaf.
Are you
hasn't
loafing?
she? Yes.
Yes, you're loafing.
Yeah. Such a precious girl. So these are all excellent reasons why servals do not make good pets. Yeah. And Sheena came to us from Ohio, and Ohio actually did strengthen some of its laws regarding exotic cat ownership. So Sheena came to us as a result of that. But unfortunately, when she came to us, she was actually severely overweight. Which can happen. A lot of the time we'll notice when we rescue cats, they can either come to us either very overweight or very underweight. And it's really important to keep them at a good weight. So Sheena has been on a diet, a special diet as well, because she was struggling with some foods, but we're starting to integrate more variety into her diet now. So each of our cats pretty much gets a diet tailor-made for them every day, and most of the time it's done by weight as well. So I think the most we feed a cat in a day is maybe 15 pounds for one of our largest tigers, and Sheena probably gets maybe a pound of food a day. I can't remember quite, but we weigh it all, and our vets monitor our cats and their and how they look, and we will adjust that accordingly.
Yeah, you gotta flip it over. The good stuff's on the bottom.
Good girl, Sheena. And then we're going to turn over to Cricket, who's thinking she's going to get a second breakfast.
Yes, she is. She went right into her feeding lockout. Hi, lady.
In your lookout.
Oh, there we go.
And Cricket is another cat who came to us from private ownership, and also another cat that did come to us with some health issues because of the diet she was being fed. So unfortunately she wasn't being fed meat, she was being fed vegetables, which is actually very dangerous for a cat because they're what's known as an obligate carnivore, which means they can only eat meat. So she did have some health problems when she got here, but now she's being fed an only meat, raw meat diet, as she should be. Not a fan of the sickle, but
Didn't
that's
want
okay.
the sickle, okay.
That
face.
Right, she's very unimpressed.
And it's touching me.
That'll cool you off. It's like a little ice pack.
Yeah,
for
you got an ice pack.
So on a daily basis, we feed out a lot of chicken, a lot of beef. We feed something called mush, which is kind of like the insides of a cow ground up. And then twice a week we feed whole prey, which is very important to the cats. It's humanely euthanized and frozen, and it arrives at the sanctuary that way, so we just defrost it for the cats. And it's very important for the cats to eat that, because in the wild that's what they'd eat. They would eat the bones, the organ meat, the fur. So they tend to really love whole prey. Some of the older cats can't have it anymore because they're limited on the amount of teeth that they have left, so they might get mush or something cut up as well. So like I said, they get their food tailor-made for them. And we like to joke that oftentimes they eat better than we do.
Yes.
Right, Cricket? Okay, we'll leave you to it.
Yeah, she's like not impressed.
I feel like Hutch will probably want something.
Yeah, although he did snub us on one of the last ones, but it was the day after they had opened him up to his whole new area,
okay.
and he was like not interested in coming up. Well, and that's the amazing thing about Rebecca. She's a vegetarian. Are you vegan?
I'm a vegan.
She is vegan, and so she still fully understands what cats need versus...
Right. Like, these cats need to eat meat. I can do fine without it.
Yes.
So.
I always find that amazing. We have so many vegan and vegetarian keepers, but yet they can cut up raw meat and totally understand the process
Yeah.
of taking care of these
I'm
cats.
not gonna lie, I did struggle a little bit this morning because Mouse had one of those little rats. They normally feed out whole prey, so
Yeah.
that's a little bit like, ooh. But he enjoyed it and ate it all. So
Yes, well,
it's a funny little boy.
that's what counts.
Okay, so should we go and see Hutch?
Sure.
Let's walk down. We'll see
Okay.
if he's out. I've got a sample for him.
If not, you can wave at Ginger as you walk by.
Ginger just looks so cozy up there. I'd hate to mess with her. She just loves her big throne now.
So Ginger was rescued with Gilligan.
Hi, Jen.
So she came from that private owner in Kansas.
Hi,
and
honey.
she's living her best life here now.
Serval greeting.
Maybe he will smell us.
Hutch!
Yeah, just have Brittany call him. He'll come right
Hutchkins! He's actually, weirdly enough, he's been laying on top of that den, like in those ferns. I've walked past him a few times before and I'm like, whoa, when did you start hanging out up there? Hutch! The That's kind of what I love about the fact that some of the cats just decide they really don't care to come get what you have for them because they're not that much in need. Like, they aren't starving. They aren't like... That's a good idea. Hutch! Yep, he's snoozing somewhere. Probably, yeah, he does like the girl neighbors. Well, we can go to Alethea?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Manny.
You can if you feel comfortable.
Yeah, no, I do. I feel like everyone wants to see Manny.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. There we go. Well, Hutch is not interested today, which is okay.
Yeah, I was going to do some Operant with Alethea.
Perfect.
And maybe Jinx as well, is that okay?
Sure, yeah. I don't think anyone will ever say they don't want to see Manny or Jinx. And nobody really gets to see Alethea, so that's perfect.
And then going to see the caracals and some tigers.
Perfect.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So Rebecca actually has assigned operant cats, and Alethea serval is one of them. And so is Cyrus and Chaos. We probably won't see Cyrus. Well, we'll see him, but we'll give him something different. She has been really working hard on helping Cyrus learn operant conditioning because he's so crazy aggressive when it comes to food and a stick and all that kind of stuff. So let's see where the man is. I'm gonna see Manny Jaguar. Oh, there he is. It's a very, very hot day here in Florida, so Sickles is definitely the the prime enrichment to hand out.
Hey, Manny. So a lot of you already know Manny. He's probably one of the most popular cats here.
Yes.
He's gorgeous.
He is.
So I have a bloodsuckle for him.
Okay. Thank you again to the 9 people that have donated so far. 100% of your donations goes to the care of the cats. Makes it easier for us to do all these amazing things for them. You better come get that sickle.
So this is Manny, as a lot of you already know. And he is the only jaguar that we have here at Big Cat Rescue. And he came to us from a zoo in Nebraska that was refurbishing a lot of its enclosures and ended up running out of room for their cats. So they contacted us and we agreed to take in 2 of them. So Manny is one of them. And he's just fit right in here. He's incredibly intimidating though, I'm sure a lot of you know. I would say he's probably the scariest cat we have here. One of the reasons for that is jaguars are probably one of the scariest big cats as well. They actually have the strongest jaw strength out of all the big cats. So his jaw is stronger than a tiger's or a lion's. And they're incredibly strong, so they're very stocky. A lot of people confuse them with the leopard at first glance, but when you see them next to each other, you'll notice that a leopard is much sleeker and longer in shape. Jaguars are much stockier, so he's incredibly strong. And in the wild, I've seen videos of them bringing down like crocodiles and dragging them out of the water. So they're just incredibly strong and scary cats. And Manny likes to show that to us.
I know, I was really wondering if he was going to come out for the sickle or come out for us.
Right,
because
yeah.
we're still right here.
So I'm always extra careful when I'm around Manny. We have a very strict training program here. So when you start volunteering here, you start with the smaller cats and pretty much work your way up as you get more experience. So you get to work with the bigger cats the longer that you're here. So with Manny, once you become a senior keeper, you actually do have to wait a while before you work with him, just because he is considered more dangerous than a lot of our cats. Don't hit it all, Sandy.
What are you doing?
You can see how big his paws are.
He definitely showed that pretty well.
And Manny is on vacation right now, so he's in our funcation enclosure. So he gets some more room, and we like to rotate our cats through enclosures like this. And it kind of mimics what they would do in the wild. They wouldn't stay in one spot, they would be roaming and finding new territory. So it gives them a chance to smell different smells, pee over other cat smells, and just have a little bit more space to roam around in. So in the middle of Tampa here, we're kind of limited as to the amount of space we can expand to now. So these rotation enclosures are really great to kind of give the cats access to more room. Good boy, Manny.
I know they installed the new Explore camera here, but I have not seen a link. I don't know if it's live yet. You guys can see it right out there in the center. I'm assuming that when the camera is live, we will make sure everybody knows it. Hi. All right, you enjoy that. We're gonna keep going. Isn't he amazing?
Jinx and caracals, is that good for us?
Yeah, or do you want to run over to Alethea while we're right here?
Let's do Alicia.
Yeah, okay. Yep, so I think we'll see Alethea serval. We'll do some operant with her. We'll go see Jinx, our black leopard, and then we will see our caracals. Then we'll see some tigers. All right, so we're gonna just kind of drive around the corner here. Thank you to everybody who's answering questions for me in the comments. I don't like to interrupt when our guide is speaking, and I only see about one comment at a time, so I apologize if anything gets missed. Please just ask your question again, and some of our amazing moderators will help you out. She's just gathering her operant meat.
So we're going to do some operant conditioning with Alethea once we find her. So I have some treats for her. So that's some beef cut up for her. So operant conditioning is training with our cats, and it's all positive. So they get a positive reward, i.e. a treat from me. Once I find her.
Yes.
So this gives you a good little look around her enclosure as we walk around. So she has multiple bubbles that she lives in.
Oh, hi Diablo. It's Diablo, a savannah cat. Yeah, where is your girlfriend? Oh.
So she's using her little bed as some shade. So Alethea is one of the new cats that I've been training. She's just getting used to me. But the idea of operant conditioning is getting the cats to trust us and build up a rapport with the keepers, so that when it comes to providing vet care for them, it's much easier for us.
Mm-hmm. I'll stay far back just because she's probably not too sure about two people either.
Look out.
She did super good.
So that's just a treat on top of what she's already been fed. She's already had breakfast. So this is an additional treat for her. And it might seem easy, but the idea of what we're doing is we want them to come to the side of the enclosure and basically not act aggressive towards us. So she didn't swap her paws out towards me, didn't try to reach out to me, so that's really good. And then with the little cats, we really try and get them used to going into their lockout areas, because oftentimes if we're taking the cats to the vet with the small cats, we'll catch them in the lockout, shut that guillotine door, and then bring another cage to shift them into and carry them out. So it's really important for them to be comfortable in their lockout area, so that say if like tomorrow we noticed she was limping or something and we wanted to catch her to take her and get looked at, we would be able to do that with less stress to the animal.
Yep.
So we don't do any kind of fancy tricks with them. We're going to go and do Jinx next, and you'll see a slightly more advanced cat at Operant.
Yes.
He does a few more commands. Alethea, like I said, she's kind of new, and I'm getting used to working with her, so we're just she's getting used to me.
Yeah, no, that was great progress, honestly.
Yeah, he's on the Operant committee.
I am, yes. So I was judging, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, sweet boy. Were you coming to see what your girlfriend was doing?
Diablo again. Good job, bud. You didn't run and hide, so that was pretty
Christine,
awesome.
could you pass me a little spice bag? I'll give him a little spice.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, Sarah.
Yes, you know she's gonna ask.
So I'm just going to give Diablo a spice bag. Diablo is a savannah cat, so he is a hybrid.
We can't forget our tiny gentleman.
Oh. I'll stay back to give him his space, but he loves it.
Yeah, he loves Enrichment.
He does. He just doesn't let very many people see him enjoy it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yes.
Diablo is a savannah cat, so basically that's a cross between a serval, which is what Alethea is, and a domestic cat. So that's what's known as a hybrid. And unfortunately these cats are becoming very popular, but the problem is they are still aggressive and still wild, so oftentimes they have litter box issues and aggression issues towards their owners, and that's why we receive a lot of phone calls about them, and a lot of other big cat sanctuaries tend to as well. So yes, so that's not something that we're a big fan of either.
I love these two as neighbors.
Yeah.
They really take care of each other.
Yeah.
All right, well, we are gonna head over and see Mr. Jinx now. Rebecca, everyone's asking, how long have you been here?
I've been here for nearly 6 years now. I started as an intern, so I came over here to do an internship and was only supposed to be here for 3 months, and then just kind of ended up staying. So I've been here for 6 years now.
Wonderful.
I love it.
Yes.
Crazy to imagine my life without Big Cat Rescue.
Mm-hmm. Thank you again to the 10 of you that have donated today. If you ever want to learn about any of the cats' backstories, you can go to bigcatrescue.org/catbio. That will give you a list of every single permanent resident here and then everything that we know about them. When we rescue, we do not always get a lot of accurate information or information at all. So she's just getting ready. I think he's going to get some operant and a sickle. Yes. Yes. That's a good idea.
So we're going to go and head over and see Jinx, and I've got some treats for him as well. And we might see Aries. Hopefully he'll pop up.
Hopefully. He's just got such a massive... Oh, there you are!
I know, it's so hard to find him now. The struggle when his enclosure's so big that we struggle to find the cat
I know.
sometimes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
You gonna come over and see what's happening?
Come on.
I don't know. He looks pretty cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe by his den.
I can take you back there. I'm forgetting now.
That's true, yeah. Usually when we would have like a regular tour and he'd be hiding back there, we couldn't take the tour back there, but now we can.
So this is the back of Funcation here, you can see. So Manny will be running around in there somewhere.
Yeah, Manny's probably back up front there still with his sickle. All right, sneaky flat cat. Must be in the den. Oh.
Down. Back out. Down.
You are so smart. He's like, oh, back in here? He likes to try to train the trainers.
He does, yeah. Leopards are incredibly intelligent.
Yep, he's like, I go back in here? Here we go. So you can see how important that was, the fact that he was in his den, and if we had thought maybe he was having some kind of medical issue, because he's so good at operant conditioning and we reinforce it so often, he immediately came out, so we would have been able to see him. And then calling him into his lockout, same thing like she mentioned with Alethea, we could close that door and bring a transport cage out, so if he ever had to go to the vet, it's as least stressful as it can be, even though on us it's still always very stressful.
Yeah.
Now he has a fish sickle. Do you want to talk a little more about like the things we'd be looking for when we do operant with them?
Yeah, so we look a lot at their movement, at their gait. When we're cleaning during the day, usually the cats are asleep by that point, so it's kind of hard to get a good look at them. So with operant, it's always good to like judge their movement and stuff like that. A lot of our cats, because they are older, they might be arthritic, so some of them might have, you know, that kind of walk already, but a lot of them it's about kind of observing
You get some sand in there.
so that we know if we do need to start medicating our cats. In the wild, these cats would maybe live to be 10 years old, but here they can live into their 20s, sometimes well into their 20s. So we are dealing with an aging population here, so we do medicate them and give them supplements for if they need that kind of thing. So the operant's very important, and most of our cats do have a specific trainer that they work with. So I have 4 cats myself that I work with on a weekly basis. And that's actually been really rewarding because I have seen a lot of progress with one of the cats I'm working with. Jinx, like Brittany said, he more trains us more than we train him sometimes, I think. But yeah, so and we also, like you say, like to do the down command so that we can see their movement that way, and kind of encourage them to walk around the enclosure so we can see the way they're walking, or maybe can look at different sides of their body if we need to as well. And we have been able to like medicate our cats and treat stuff that way by using operant conditioning, so it is a really valuable tool for us. And Jinx is a black leopard. A lot of people might call him a panther, but he's actually a leopard, and if he was laying in the sun, you'd actually see he does have spots, just like a leopard would. And if we would have to take him in for a surgery or something and shave him, the spots would actually show on his skin kind of like a tattoo. So the saying a leopard never changes its spots is actually completely accurate. They never do change their spots. So yeah, so he's a leopard, and kind of looking at his body, you can see that he is much sleeker than Manny, Manny's body shape. So this is Jinx. We'll sneak back to see if Aries wants to come out for a blood sickle.
At least a sickle. Yeah, he's like, oh, they're preoccupied. We'll wait till they come back.
So we're gonna just find Aries quickly. He's our male cougar.
I see a belly.
Hi.
You better come see.
He snubbed us the last time too. He did, yeah. I was shocked.
You come get this sickle.
Can hear him purring.
Yeah. We can actually hear him purring from here. I don't know if the camera picks up on that, but cougars are the largest cat that can purr, which is really cool to hear. I might pop it around the corner, see if
Yeah, it might be closer for him. He's thinking about it. He just isn't sure, is it worth it?
You better come see this. Oh. You better come see.
And you'd know a cougar by different names, so they might be known as a catamount, a mountain lion, a mountain screecher. There's about 40 different names for this one cat. And that's because you can find them from North America all the way down to South America. So they have a really wide distribution. And kind of like the bobcats, they do look different depending on where you find them. So in their size and a little bit in their coloration as well. Silly, you are so silly.
You came out to lay with
Yes.
it, but not eat it.
And Aries is actually one of the few cats that came to us from the wild. So like I said, most of our cats here have been born within, into captivity. He was born out into the wild, but unfortunately his mother was shot by a hunter. And 3 cubs became orphans. And that's where we stepped in. So he's actually been with us his whole life. But the thing is, at feeding time, don't be fooled by how cute he is. And if you can hear him purr, don't let that fool you either. He's horrible at feeding time. He's so aggressive. He'll actually try and rip the door off its hinges to get to the food before we finish putting it in his feeding area. And I always like to tell that to tour guests because he's so deceiving. And I think a lot of people think with private ownership, there's this misconception that, oh, if I raise this cub or kitten from a baby, it will bond to me and we'll live happily ever after. And that's never the case. And Aries is proof that of a cat that's been fed by humans almost his whole life, and he's still an absolute terror at feeding time.
He is.
So yeah, you are a good example of why you shouldn't keep big cats as pets.
Yeah.
I
that's
know.
Aries.
Very handsome though. Let's get
One little view of you. Oh, yeah. All right, your sickle's there when you're ready for it.
Okay, so we're gonna head to
He's like, operant? Well, he just trained us, didn't he? We are all very partial to Aries, so he gets as many treats as he wants.
How can you not when he's purring.
I know. So handsome.
Okay, so we're going to head to the caracals and then try and fit in some tigers.
Sounds good.
Is that good for
Yeah,
tigers?
sure, yeah. I think because they're all in that area too, so.
Finished by like Cully and Jasmine.
Yeah, perfect. All right.
Just all doing it in and out.
It is, I
I
know.
was doing fine and then I was like, oh god.
I know, usually these tours are 2 hours in person, but my camera won't hold up that long. All right, well, thank you so much for the donations, guys, and all of the helping out in the comments and sharing. If you've shared this, that is the easiest way for you to help spread our mission and help new people discover Big Cat Rescue and everything that we do here. I did give a little update about Nikita Lion this morning. She's been eating really well. Today she cleaned her plate. She's been taking her meds. She's getting a little more vocal again. So hopefully at some point she'll get to go have access to her open air section. So we are gonna see Cyrus and Chaos. Rebecca works with both of these cats specifically. They are assigned to her.
Meet the Chaos and we'll grab a sickle for Cyrus so he doesn't feel left out.
Of course.
So we're going to go and see the caracals. They're another small cat species that we have here. They're really cool. I'd never heard of them before I started volunteering.
Me
Now
either.
They're one of my favourite species.
Me too.
Pumpkin! Look at sickle. Yeah.
No, that's Rebecca. I should get off. And
like,
so
wait, she gets
Cyrus is
food.
one of the cats I'm training with, but he's very reactive towards the stick. So I'm not going to show you our training session because it's a little different and it's like a work in progress right now. But I'm super proud of him because he's doing really great.
He is.
But because we can't let anyone feel left out, he's going to get a blood sickle instead. And hopefully Chaos will pop out of somewhere. Hey, Angel. I know you think I've got me. So Brittany will show you a cool look at his ears. So caracals are sometimes called a desert lynx because they have those tufts at the end of their ears. But they're not a lynx, they're a caracal. They're super gorgeous cats. The word caracal actually comes from the Turkish word for black ear. And they're found in some areas of the Middle East and also African countries as well. And just like the servals, this is them fully grown. So Salius is an adult, but don't be deceived by his size. He's still very aggressive and would be an exceptional birder in the wild. They're another kind of cat that can jump into the air and pick out birds from the sky. They have insane kind of muscles.
They do, and I've even tried to pop things into him from above just to see like his range.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, even though he's declawed and born and raised in captivity, he could still rip something out of the sky.
I think that's the thing a lot of people don't realize with these cats. They still have an instinct, and you can't breed or like tame that out of them. There's something hardwired in them that you see that something change in their eyes and they're like
Yes, you
suddenly
do.
a killer.
Yes, they do.
So that's really important to note with these cats. Even though they're used to a lot of us, they still absolutely have that wild instinct. I'm gonna see where that's in.
Yeah. Oh, he's chasing you. He'll come back. He'll find it. Yeah.
Go get your sickle, silly.
She might be all the way in the other section. Now it's just finding her.
She's round the back. If you want, I can do Operant with him. He's just a little bit swatty.
Yeah, it's totally whatever you feel comfortable with.
Chaos is hiding. I'm going to show you some Operant with
Okay.
So we do it around his lockout.
That's spectacular. Oh, I'm so proud of you because I've worked with him before,
Yeah.
and I'll be honest, I was scared. I
Right.
was like, I've never actually
Yeah.
had a small cat like be that aggressive.
So in the past, he's even taken these sticks from us and he's like snapped them in half.
Yes, yeah.
So it might not seem great, but to me and Brittany, that's like
That's-
a real work in progress.
That's amazing. Yeah.
makes me
Yay.
happy.
That was very good.
So the
Awesome.
idea is for one day for him not to swat at the stick. And
Yeah.
basically for him to know it's not something there to hurt him. It's just like a vessel to get the meat, a treat to him.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Didn't you actually start out by just tossing food at his face, basically? Just being like, all right, I
Yeah.
promise you're getting food. There's no need to reach.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Knick-knack.
So we can see she's doing good.
Yep, she's doing good. It's Nikita over there getting a drink of water. In her feeding lockout. All right, so
Head to Jasmine.
Tiger Girls,
And then-
yeah.
And then that might be.
Perfect, yeah, that sounds great. So we're gonna go see some Tiger Girls. We're gonna go see Jasmine Tiger and Kali Tiger. And he's just like, I'm in lockout. What else did you bring me? There's Mr. Kimba up on his platform. We're still getting the 3 Guatemala boys really used to enrichment, so we haven't been featuring them a ton because we're all still just working with them, getting them kind of used to how everything works. Ooh. Hi, Jazz.
Love your sandbox.
I know, that looks pretty fun.
Don't use it as a litter box.
That looks pretty fun.
So this is Jasmine, and that little noise she's making, I'm sure a lot of you know, is called a chuff. So it's basically her way of saying hi to us all.
Oh, nice. She got a new gate, too.
So we're going to do some operant conditioning with her.
Oh,
Or not, because she might be in heat.
she might be in heat. Not interested.
Can we do a bath instead?
That might be a better idea, yeah.
Jasmine is in heat right now, so she does not want any treats. So we're going to give her a shower instead.
Perfect. Actually, I might stay on this side so I can watch it across. She does know. She's like, hi, you can spray me right here. So all of our tigers actually have multiple swimming pools or access to water. Jasmine does have a swimming pool out in her open air section, but she really enjoys just getting a nice hose down. Usually the cleaners will do that around cleaning time. So this is just another unique way where we can give them enrichment that we know specific cats enjoy it, others do not at all. Is that very fun? Now she'll go roll around in her sandbox. Hi, honey. Perfect. So she'll get a perfume tube instead. A lot of times when the tigers go into heat, they are not interested in food at all, but they still very much like their other types of enrichment. You can have that later. Oh. That was a stinky face. Would you spray on that?
Axe
The
as
Axe
well.
body spray, yeah.
So Jasmine came to us as a former pet. She came with us with Jinx, and she came to us from Ohio. That actually did start to tighten some of its legislation. So like I said to you, some states here have no laws whatsoever as to whether or not you can keep a big cat as a pet. But unfortunately, Ohio did have a reason to change their laws because of a very sad incident where a private owner released about 50 of his wild animals. He had big cats, bears, primates and wolves, and then he killed himself. And all of these animals had to be killed by law enforcement arriving at the scene because they were running towards a residential area. And that happened in somewhere called Zanesville, Ohio. So because of that, Ohio did strengthen its laws, and that's, you know, one of the key reasons we want to change laws in this country, because usually it's the cats that end up suffering. So if you are a US resident and you want us to help us pass our bill, the Big Cat Public Safety Act, all you have to do is to text the word cats to the number 52886, and it will prompt you on how you can contact your representatives up in Washington DC and help us pass a bill that will stop people from being able to keep big cats as pets. Because ultimately that's our goal. We're one of the few places that want to put ourselves out of business. In our ideal world, we wouldn't have to be here. So if you guys want to help us, please do that. Cats to 52886 if you live in the United States.
Perfect. Jazz, did you like having some company?
Yeah. Should we just try and find Carly?
Yeah.
We'll keep some operant at least.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to go over to see Carly. She's just around the corner here.
Perfect.
And you'll kind of get a view of our pools here. So like Brittany was saying, all of our tigers have access to a water feature because they're one of the few cats that actually love water. So oftentimes we'll find them just dunked in their pool.
Mm-hmm. And you can see this is actually Jasmine's pool out here. She has this whole area of her enclosure. She's just hanging out up front. Aww.
Callie recently got a cool new platform.
She sure did. That's one of the permanent enrichments that we make sure the cats get. Good job. I told you she was such a princess.
Yeah.
She's
got
very
that
good.
little edge to her though. For
She
sure.
does. Did you feel the grumbling and
yeah.
rumbling? Yeah.
Good girl, Callie.
Aww. Well, thank you guys very much to everybody who donated, everybody who shared this live feed and helped out in the comments. If you are interested in sponsoring any of the cats you saw today, you can go to bigcatrescue.biz. Right on our homepage, you can choose the sponsor kits for that. So 100% of the donations that you guys give to Big Cat Rescue does go to the care of the cats. So that is really, really important right now. We are closed to the public since March 16th. So any of that extra money is extremely helpful to the care for these guys. If you want to learn about any of the cats specifically, just go to bigcatrescue.org/catbio and you'll see a whole list there. So I want to say thank you to Rebecca.
Thank you so much for joining us. And can I just say something quickly?
Absolutely.
I wanted to wish my dad back home in the UK a happy Father's Day. I love you and I miss you, Dad.
Yay.
And thank you everyone for joining. I really hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. All right, let's go out with a Kalichef. There we go. Good job, lady. Say happy Father's Day, everybody. All right, thank you guys. I hope you have a great day.